mask situation. Here we go. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Is this working? Good evening and welcome to the Good Friday service here at the First Parish in Lincoln. We are grateful tonight to welcome friends of all ages here into this sacred space, and to welcome several friends and guests, both our wonderful guest musicians, Ann Moss and Justin Ule, welcome, as well as several neighbors from the First Parish in Concord, who hosted many of us last night for a joint Maundy Thursday service. We want to extend a warm welcome to the Reverend Liz Weber, who will be participating in tonight's service. Welcome also to their music director, Beth Norton. Welcome. It is our hope that in collaborating in some small way this week, we might kindle a widened sense of our shared ministry as neighboring congregations. Here at the First Parish in Lincoln, we are an open and welcoming community church connected to both the Unitarian Universalists as well as the United Church of Christ. And so we welcome on this holy night seekers of any and all religious and spiritual backgrounds, beliefs, belongings, and longings. Welcome to you tonight. Whatever your spirit is seeking, may it find what it needs here in this place. And as recovery groups put it so well, may you take what speaks to you and leave the rest. Beloved, we call this day Good Friday. But what is good about it? It is a story of betrayal, suffering, death. Sometimes it's called the Passion. We weep for the brokenness of the world, and we may feel that brokenness inside of ourselves. And yet somehow in the math of suffering, pain plus pain doesn't just pile up to more pain. Somehow together, when we witness and alchemize this story, it can be transformed. Passion plus passion can become compassion, the simple, radical courage to suffer with one another. And so, beloved, with that courage and compassion, it is indeed good to be here together tonight. And so I invite you as we land here in this space in the story to please rise as you wish in body or in spirit as we call ourselves together as one body with these opening words. The Good Fridays of our lives come unbidden and unexpected.
Bringing the winter of despair and the death of dreams and hope.
Only love has the power to mend what has been broken.
Love that brings healing to our wounds.
A love that offers hope when we have none.
A love that creates unity where there is conflict.
A love that instills new life into lifeless brown husks. O love, hear us when we cry, my God, why have you forsaken me?
Please join me in a spirit of prayer. Spirit of life, spirit of love, spirit that I call God, come, be with us. Hear our prayers. Lord, between you and me, Good Friday is a difficult day for me. As a child, Good Friday was a quick bump in the road on the way to Easter. They said Jesus' death was substitutional atonement for my sins, whatever that meant. I still can't say it. Everything would be just peachy on Sunday. Move along. There's nothing to see here. I can't accept that story, Lord. You actually wanted a sacrifice? A human sacrifice? That's messed up. That can't be who you are. We'll tell the story of Jesus, of a charismatic prophet who burned to bring forth the kingdom of God here on earth. An agitator who wanted to change the world. He preached love, radical inclusion. He railed against the rich. He ended up being tortured to death. Rather than sail over the bump of Good Friday, I'm trying to sit with that story to make sense of it. We all know a version of what it's like to sit with that story, to imagine ourselves in Jerusalem. We start out thinking we can change the world, and we lose the election. The marriage ends in divorce. The business fails. Loved ones die. There's a spot on the x-ray. We don't know what the future brings, what the future will bring. How did Jesus find the courage to go to Jerusalem, knowing what might lay in wait? How did Martin Luther King find the courage to go to Memphis? How do any of us find the courage to move forward after the losses, the divorces, the failures, the deaths? Last week, I visited the lynching museum in Alabama. People were lynched in my lifetime. They were real people. They had names. They too were tortured to death. That's another story I'm trying to come to terms with. When will we end the killing and the scapegoating and the hatred? Where is the peace? Where is the peace that passes understanding? Lord, I pray for faith. Faith that the work can go on, that it must go on. Faith that if we do not live to finish it, that our children will. And if they do not, that their children will in their lifetimes. Faith that while the moral arc of the universe is long, it bends, and it bends towards justice. Faith that we are up to the task. May it be so.
Jesus prays in Gethsemane. They went to a place called Gethsemane, and he said to his disciples, "Sit here while I pray." He took with him Peter and James and John and began to be distressed and agitated. He said to them, "I am deeply grieved, even to death. Remain here and keep awake." Going a little farther, he threw himself on the ground and prayed that if it were possible, this hour might pass from him. He said, "Abba, Father, for you all things are possible. Remove this cup from me. Yet not what I want, but what you want." He came and found them sleeping, and he said to Peter, "Simon, are you asleep? Could you not keep awake 1 hour?
Gethsemane by Mary Oliver. The grass never sleeps, or the roses, nor does the lily have a secret eye that shuts until morning. Jesus said, "Wait with me," but the disciples slept. The cricket has such splendid fringe on his feet, and it sings, have you noticed, with its whole body, and heaven knows if it ever sleeps. Jesus said, "Wait with me." And maybe the stars did. Maybe the wind wound itself into a silver tree and didn't move. Maybe the lake far away, where once he walked as on a blue pavement, lay still and waited, wild awake. Oh, the dear bodies, slumped and eyes shut, that could not keep that vigil. How they must have wept, so utterly human, knowing this too must be a part of the story.
the betrayal and the arrest of Jesus. Jesus went out with his disciples to a place where there was a garden. Now Judas, who had betrayed him, also knew the place. So Judas brought a detachment of soldiers together with police from the chief priests and to the Pharisees, and they came there with lanterns and torches and weapons. Then Jesus, knowing all that was to happen to him, came forward and asked them, "For whom are you looking?" They answered, "Jesus of Nazareth." Jesus replied, "I am he." Then they arrested Jesus and bound him. Simon Peter and another disciple followed Jesus, but Peter was standing outside at the gate. The woman who guarded the gate said to Peter, "You are not also one of this man's disciples, are you?" He said, "I am not." Now the slaves and the police had made a charcoal fire because it was cold, and they were standing round it and warming themselves. Peter was also standing with them and warmed himself. They asked him, "You are not also one of his disciples, are you?" He denied it and said, "I am not." One of the slaves of the high priest asked, "Did I not see you in the garden with him?" Again, Peter denied it, and at that moment, the cock crowed.
Hard Night by Christian Wyman. What words or harder gift does the light require of me, carving from the dark this difficult tree? What place or farther peace do I almost see emerging from the night and heart of me? The sky whitens, goes on and on. Fields wrinkle into rows of cotton, go on and on. Night, like a fling of crows, disperses and is gone. What song, what home, what calm or one clarity can I not quite come to, never quite see? This field, this sky, this tree.
trial of Jesus before Pilate. Then they took Jesus to Pilate's headquarters. It was early in the morning. Pilate went out to them and said, "What accusation do you bring against this man?" Then Pilate summoned Jesus and asked him, "Are you the king of the Jews?" Jesus answered, "My kingdom is not from this world. If my kingdom were from this world, my followers would be fighting to keep me from being handed over. But as it is, my kingdom is not from here." Pilate asked him, "So you are a king?" Jesus answered, "You say that I am a king. For this I was born, and for this I came into the world, to testify to the truth. Everyone who belongs to the truth listens to my voice." Pilate asked him, "What is truth?"
Won't You Celebrate With Me by Lucille Clifton. Won't you celebrate with me what I have shaped into a kind of life? I had no model. Born in Babylon, both non-white and woman, what did I see to be except myself? I made it up here on this bridge between starshine and clay, one hand holding tight the other hand. Come, celebrate with me that every day something has tried to kill me and has failed.
Jesus is condemned to death. Pilate told them, I find no case against him, but you have a custom that I release someone for you at the Passover. Do you want me to release for you the King of the Jews? They shouted in reply, not this man, but Barabbas. Now, Barabbas was a bandit. Then Pilate took Jesus and had him flogged. And the soldiers wove a crown of thorns and put it on his head, and they dressed him in a purple robe. They kept coming up to him saying, Hail, King of the Jews, and striking him on the face. Pilate went out again and said to them, Look, I'm bringing him out to you to let you know that I find no case against him. So Jesus came out wearing the crown of thorns and the purple robe. Pilate said to them, Here is the man. When the chief priests and the police saw him, they shouted, Crucify him! Crucify him!
On the Mystery of the Incarnation by Denise Levertov. It's when we face for a moment the worst our kind can do and shudder to know the taint in our own selves. That awe cracks the mind shell and enters the heart. Not to a flower, not to a dolphin, to no innocent form, but to this creature vainly sure, it and no other is godlike. God, out of compassion for our ugly failure to evolve, entrusts as guest, as brother, the Word.
From the cross, Jesus calls forth beloved community. So they took Jesus, and carrying the cross by himself, he went out to what is called the place of the skull, which in Hebrew is called Golgotha. There they crucified him, and with 2 others, one on either side, with Jesus between them. Meanwhile, standing near the cross of Jesus were his mother and his mother's sister Mary, the wife of Clopas, and Mary Magdalene. When Jesus saw his mother and the disciple whom he loved standing beside her, he said to his mother, "Woman, here is your son." Then he said to the disciple, "Here is your mother." And from that hour, the disciple took her into his own home.
Good Bones by Maggie Smith. Life is short, though I keep this from my children. Life is short, and I've shortened mine in 1,000 delicious, ill-advised ways. 1,000 deliciously ill-advised ways I'll keep from my children. The world is at least 50% terrible, and that's a conservative estimate, though I keep this from my children. For every bird, there is a stone thrown at a bird. For every loved child, a child broken, bagged, sunk in a lake. Life is short, and the world is at least half terrible. And for every kind stranger, there is one who would break you. Though I keep this from my children, I am trying to sell them the world. Any decent realtor walking you through a real shithole chirps on about good bones. This place could be beautiful, right? You could make this place beautiful.
God is my shepherd. Jesus dies. After this, when Jesus knew that all was now finished, he said, "I am thirsty." A jar full of sour wine was standing there. So they put a sponge full of the wine on a branch of hyssop and held it to his mouth. When Jesus had received the wine, he said, "It is finished." Then he bowed his head and gave up his spirit.
Funeral Blues by W. H. Auden. Stop all the clocks. Cut off the telephone. Prevent the dog from barking with a juicy bone. Silence the pianos and with muffled drum bring out the coffin. Let the mourners come. Let aeroplanes circle moaning overhead, scribbling on the sky the message, he is dead. Put crepe bows round the white necks of the public doves. Let the traffic policemen wear black cotton gloves. He was my north, my south, my east, my west, my working week and my Sunday rest, my noon, my midnight, my talk, my song. I thought that love would last forever. I was wrong. The stars are not wanted now. Put out every one. Pack up the moon and dismantle the sun. Pour away the ocean and sweep up the wood, for nothing now can ever come to any good.
Friends, the story is nearly done, but not yet. And when we depart this evening, the story will be nearly done, but not yet. And so as we prepare to go forth into this night, receive this blessing and keep receiving it. If you want to stay and linger in silence, and when you're ready to move into your evening, beloved, here in the shadows of the cross, here together at the crossroads of pain and presence, May you go into the stillness of this night with holy uncertainty and tender expectation. Hold on to hope. Draw near to where you hear the holy whispering. Though every inch of you may want to turn away, turn toward the crushed, the discouraged, the forsaken, the wounded in the world and in your very soul with love. And may the vulnerable God who knows intimately the depths of our suffering meet you right there and remain with you always. Amen.
Jesus is laid in the tomb. After these things, Joseph of Arimathea, who was a secret disciple of Jesus, came and removed his body. Nicodemus, who had at first come to Jesus by night, also came, bringing a mixture of myrrh and aloes. They took the body of Jesus and wrapped it with the spices in linen cloths, according to the burial custom of the Jews. Now, there was a garden in the place where he was crucified, and in the garden there was a new tomb in which no one had ever been laid. And so they laid Jesus there.
Little Prayer by Danez Smith. Let ruin end here. Let him find honey. Where there was once a slaughter, let him enter the lion's cage and find a field of lilacs. Let this be the healing. And if not, let it be.